the day before my engagement to Chu Han. I saw him kissing his secretary passionately through the window. I didn't cry or make a scene. I just threw away the ring on my finger. The first thing he did when he walked in was tell me tomorrow's engagement ceremony is cancelled. Got it. This time I didn't ask him why. He paused, taking a breath, and uncharacteristically explained to me, something's come up at the company. I need to go abroad for a while. He squeezed my hand and said, I'll make it up to you next time. The assistant interjected at the right moment. Miss Sia, where is Mr. Chu? I'll take the luggage downstairs first. I won't disturb you any further. She cast a glance at Chu Han. Her gaze lingered as if it were glued to him. Take your time, tidying up the bedroom. I'm going home to grab a few things. Chu Han didn't try to stop me. He just told me to come back early. The next day, he went on a business trip and I booked a flight abroad. Chu Han thought I would wait for him unconditionally, like before. This is the third time he's told me he'll make up for the engagement ceremony next time. I was with Chu Han for 8 years, from college through our working years. He said he would marry me right after graduation, but then kept using work as an excuse. Sia, in this life, I will only marry you. You can't run away from me. The first time we got engaged, a crisis hit the company. Someone had stolen our product patent. I had just changed into my gown in the dressing room when he suddenly broke the news to me. The engagement ceremony has been postponed. The second time he said there had been an accident involving a worker and he had to rush to the scene to handle it. Otherwise, it would damage the company's reputation. Work is his eternal excuse. The night before our engagement, he told me once again, the engagement is off. Chu Han, I really want to marry you, but you're not the only one I'd marry. This morning, Chu Han and I made plans to go try on dresses together, dressed in formal attire, but he was no longer on the sofa. After looking around, he was on the balcony making a phone call. Are you really going to marry her? I leaned against the wall, the voice on the phone crystal clear, yet piercing. Chu Han rubbed his temples. ceoandcinderellachinesedrama. Of course not. A soft chuckle came through the phone. Back in school, you were crazy about her. Swore you'd marry no one else. Now, why the hesitation? Was he faking it all along? Chu Han sighed. Who knows? Back then, I thought she was beautiful, a radiant little girl, but he paused for a moment. Now I'm sick of it. Even doing it once makes me feel disgusted. My excited heartbeat instantly froze, as if a basin of icy water had been dumped over me in the dead of winter. My blood turning to ice throughout my body. All that love turned into a joke. The person on the other end chuckled a few times, their voice rising. Then why don't you just dump her already? Your assistant is young, pretty, soft, and delicate. Don't tell me you haven't had a taste. Chu Han paused for a few seconds, then looked into the distance. It's not bad to keep them around for some amusement. Don't say I didn't warn you. This is the third time. What excuse do you have this time? It doesn't matter what excuse I give. She'll believe anything I say. He cracked a few jokes, and when someone called him, he hung up with a playful remark. Chu Han hung up the phone and was about to leave, so I ran to the bathroom, leaning on the sink. I saw myself in the mirror, my makeup perfectly done, yet my eyes looked withered, like a flower shattered by hail. So everyone knew all along Chu Han's proposal was fake. His excuse was made up and his assistant was always by his side. But every time they saw me, they warmly called me sister-in-law. I thought it was recognition, but behind my back, it was nothing but endless mockery. They made a fool of me like a monkey, putting me on display for everyone to gawk. I've applied for a job transfer abroad, and my flight is in 3 days. The next day, Anning's moments were filled with intimate photos of her and Chu Han kissing by the sea, watching the night view from the Ferris wheel, splurging at luxury stores. Chu Han's moments on WeChat, just like his excuses, were filled exclusively with work photos. Anning replied below with a dissatisfied emoji. Others simply thought that President Chu was working hard with his assistant. Little did she know that the young woman was upset because the man beside her wasn't willing to post her on his moments like she did. Anning, a fresh and innocent college graduate, just wanted someone to know about her love story, so she had already added me as a friend. She has never blocked me from seeing her moments. It was almost as if she was showing off. There were many comments below, and even Chu Han's usual close friends were teasing him in the comments. Master Chu seems to be having a great time with his little lady. Youth is truly wonderful. I opened the keyboard and typed below, a perfect match, beautiful scenery, beautiful people. Just a reminder to Mr. Chu, take it easy. The lively comment suddenly died down as if water had been poured on a fire. After a while, Chu Han left a comment. The little girl has never been abroad before, so she got a bit excited and took a few extra photos. Chu Han called me, but I didn't answer. He messaged me. Anning was just following local customs and learning foreign etiquette. What you said was out of line. The little girl has been worried, afraid you'd be angry. Go delete your comment and explain it to her, or she won't be able to sleep and will be upset all night. I couldn't help but snicker. The assistant is angry, but nothing soothes her faster than the boss's comforting words. The beauty in President Chu's arm should be fine now. If I'm not mistaken, Anning is now lying in Chu Han's arms, acting spoiled and crying, just like the night before I left. She lay in his arms, holding his waist, and cried. Did I do something wrong that made Sister Shi unhappy? Chu Han gently wiped away her tears, picked her up, and in the clear surveillance footage, that night they spent the whole night entwined in the wedding room I had prepared. This remark seemed to anger Chu Han, so he called back again. I answered the call, and he started scolding me right away. Cia being mean only makes a woman ugly, and even more repulsive. He really chose the perfect word, once again revealing the deep-seated disgust he's always felt. But Chu Han, you disgust me even more. Anning is just an innocent young girl, unlike you, older than her, yet far more calculating. I asked him, Mr. Chu, did I say something wrong? Chu Han's voice came to an abrupt halt. That remark was ambiguous. Reminding an assistant to take care of the boss's health is perfectly normal. Only those with a guilty conscience would read too much into it. Only then, flustered and exasperated, would they be the first to ask. It seems that only in this way can one gain the upper hand and stand one's ground with confidence. I said calmly, or is it that you have a guilty conscience, which is why you're overreacting? Before Chu Han could speak, a delicate, tearful voice came through the phone. I'm sorry, boss. It's all my fault. Please don't argue with Sister Shi. I'm deleting my moments right now and never posting again. Chu Han dropped a harsh remark. Glib tongue, since you still don't see your mistake. Our engagement ceremony is postponed indefinitely. Even a little girl like Anning has more sense than you. He hung up before I could even say anything. I gripped my phone so tightly that my fingertips turned white. Chu Han's words were spoken with impunity. Every time we argue, I'm always the one to back down first. I feel for him working so hard, and I don't want him to come home to more trouble. In his mind, as long as he finishes his so-called work trip, comes home, gives me a cold look, speaks to me with a frosty tone, and throws me a glance as if bestowing a favor, I'll automatically try to appease him. She even cooked a whole feast and begged him to eat. Even his own brother said I couldn't live without him. When she has a fight with Brother Chu, she'll definitely back down and make peace within 3 days. A woman who goes to such lengths is truly something else. Honestly, at first I was really envious of Brother Chu, but after watching her more, she's just like a monkey. No matter how much you mess with her, she never gets mad, but you can also treat her like she's not even human. Haha, I let out a sarcastic laugh. So it turns out the signs were all there from the start. If Chu Han respected me, how could his buddy dare to say something like that to his face? Because the one who was really making a fool out of me was him. I was the only one lost in the one-sided joy of loving someone. I've truly become a joke. My flight is the day after tomorrow, and I'm packing my bags at the apartment. This apartment was bought for me by my parents, the gift they gave me before immigrating abroad. Chu Han has repeatedly urged me to sell the apartment. Since you're moving in with me anyway, this place is just sitting empty. And as my wife, you'd still have to worry about coming over to clean it. I can't bear to see you go through that. I said I would agree, but in the end, I just couldn't bring myself to sell it. The only thing I'm grateful for now is that this apartment wasn't sold. Otherwise, we wouldn't even have a place to go after a fight. The apartment is filled with my belongings, with only a few items given to me by Chu Han. Everything Chu Han gave me was from our college days. Not expensive, but priceless in meaning. After graduation, Chu Han never gave me another gift. Whether it's birthdays or Valentine's Day, we haven't celebrated any of them anymore. He's always busy with work, busy with overtime, so busy that he doesn't even have time to eat. Once a crack appears between lovers, beneath it lies an endless abyss of darkness. Is he really busy with these things? Or is he busy with something else? I scrolled through Anning's moments. Over the past 2 years, every Valentine's Day and special occasion, she would post a sweet photo of a gift along with a picture of a man's silhouette cast over her as if protecting her. My nose tingled, and I couldn't hold back the tears, which fell onto the photo album he had given me. All of these are candid shots he took while pursuing me. Different times, different places, different circumstances. Maybe he really did love me back then. After all, these photos turned out so beautifully. But now, the existence of these photos has become evidence of his betrayal. I brought a bucket and pulled them out one by one, each one a heartfelt memory. Ignite, burn it down. Much later, with bloodshot eyes, Chu Han gave me another copy of the exact same book. I watched coldly, shook it off. In the end, everything had changed. After finishing the transfer procedures, I called a few close friends. My job has been transferred to the country where my parents live. Unless something unexpected comes up, I probably won't be coming back. Before my parents went abroad, they wanted to take me with them, but I stayed behind for Chu Han. Mom, I'm sorry. I don't want him to be alone here. I want to stay with him, though reluctant. Mother simply sighed and said, I hope you won't regret this in the future. So what if you regret it? My dear daughter, if he ever bullies you, just come to your dad. I'll take care of him for you. In the restaurant, my friends were all staring at me strangely. Well, isn't this a rare sight? Miss Sia actually treating someone to a meal. Where's your big CEO Chu? Let you out. Not following him around anymore. I let out a self-deprecating laugh. Everyone knew I loved Chu Han, loved him so much that my heart had room for no one else but him. He said he wanted to see me the moment he got home. And I never go to parties when friends invite me. I always make excuses to decline. Gradually, they came to realize that I was never invited to events, or at most just politely teased about it. Mr. Chu and Miss Sia have another appointment today. I solemnly announced to them, I'm going abroad. I've already applied for a company transfer to an overseas branch. So this meal is specially for you. Their expressions suddenly turned serious as they asked cautiously, what's going on between you and Chu Han? I held back the sting in my nose and fought back tears. I'm not going to revolve around him anymore. They were stunned for a moment, then laughed. Oh, perfect. Isn't hanging out with us, girls, way better than those men? As she said this, she raised her glass and leaned in to sniff me. You do smell good, way better than those stinky men. They held me close and said, gee, we'll always be here for you. It's been a long time since I've enjoyed drinking so freely, because Chu Han doesn't like it. Screw your dislike. Who the hell do you think you are? They were a bit tipsy. Yeah, I'll get you the best. Cease. A phoenix is hard to find, but there are plenty of ordinary men around. She said this as she picked up her glass and made a round through the restaurant. Sis, I'll find you a good man. Fa quickly zeroed in on her target, walked over with her wine glass, and pulled the person over. So much better than Chu Han. Right. The other sisters at the table all looked over, their eyes hazy at first, then suddenly sparkling with light. I have to say, the looks are truly stunning. He has a pretty good temper. He didn't even get angry when Fa dragged him here. I was still fairly sober, so I took Fa's arm apologetically. He gave me a gentle smile, but there seemed to be someone familiar at the table. After a moment, she recognized him, jolted awake, the alcohol clearing from her mind, and quickly pulled her over. Wake up. Something's wrong. Sia, it's your boss. Fa was clearly drunk. My boss. Isn't that even better? Good looks, money, and a great body. That's more than enough for Sia. I quickly pressed Fa down onto the stool, but she shot up like a bull, pointing at her boss. She said, "Phone, hand it over. Quick, let's exchange contact info." Fa picked up my phone and added her contact info. Will she want to kill herself when she sobers up? The man didn't seem impatient at all. Instead, he looked at me, picked up his phone, and added my contact. He even sent me a greeting emoji. Long time no see. One of my sisters leaned in mysteriously and whispered, "Sia, there might really be a chance." He was sitting over there just now, turning his head to look at you every now and then. Fa pulled him over, and he kept staring at you the whole time. Dazed, I struggled to open my eyes and looked at him, saying very clearly, "I don't know you," but still greeted in a friendly manner. After the dinner party ended, we ran into each other again at the restaurant entrance. Since I had been drinking, I couldn't drive, so I took a taxi. After being in the wind for a while, Fa sobered up a bit. He let out a mournful howl, but quickly stifled it when he saw his boss come out. "After all the sacrifices your sisters made to find you, that man, if you can't hold on to him, you'll be letting me down." She took a deep breath. "I'm all in." She grabbed me and called out to her boss, smiling. He said, "Busy." Mr. Fu stopped and looked at her. "Not busy. Fa Yao, none of us can drive since we've been drinking. And Sia isn't heading our way. Could you give her a ride?" Fu Yan looked at me, his dark eyes holding an emotion I couldn't read. "Thanks a lot." Sitting in Mr. Fu's car, watching the reflections outside, I explained, "Fa's had too much to drink. Please don't mind her. Miss Sia is quite polite, isn't she?" Mr. Fu let out a snicker, then suddenly pulled the car over to the side of the road and turned to look at me. A look of confusion spread across my face. "Undicesimo. Don't you remember me?" I looked at him blankly, thinking maybe there was some past business dealing that I had forgotten. He let out a few forced laughs, as if to cover up his embarrassment. "How could I forget? Your name, Mr. Fu, is practically legendary. Of course, I remember you." Fu's face darkened even more as he stared at me, his gaze drawing closer and closer until I could smell his scent and feel his breath. Feeling uneasy, I wanted to push him away, but he grabbed my wrist firmly. "Then who am I?" I froze and he asked again, "Then what's my famous name?" That's like thunder to your ears. Such oppression made me surrender. "I'm sorry," he snorted, "Fu Yun," yet I could feel the warmth of his palm seeping into my wrist. He instinctively flinched back. He sat up straight, restarted the car, and said, "Don't forget again." To be honest, even after he told me, I still couldn't remember who he was, but the lingering warmth around my wrist seemed to be sealed there, refusing to fade away. Alcohol lowered my self-control. From the passenger seat, his cold face showed strikingly defined features and a sharp jawline. Memories are like a radio scanning through channels, with pain turned up to full volume. The photos of Chu Han and his assistant's intimate moments in our wedding room, those taken abroad. The car is parked downstairs from the apartment. "We're here." I leaned in close, my breath brushing against his face. "Want to come upstairs?" Fu Yan grabbed my wrist, halting my movement. He leaned forward, his dark eyes fixed on me, and I could see his pupils trembling slightly. How should I take this? A deep voice reached my ears, carrying a predatory pressure. My heart trembled, and for a brief moment, I was lucid. Forget it. Adults don't need to spell everything out. I pulled my hand back and was about to say, "Thanks for seeing me home." I barely parted my lips when he silenced me, catching me off guard, his large hand pressing against the back of my head to deepen the kiss. With force and impatience, my consciousness began to fade. Just as I was about to suffocate, he released me and murmured against my lips, "You started this." Fu Yan found my apartment without any trouble, opened the door, and couldn't even wait to kiss me right there in the entryway, tearing at my clothes, finally pinning me down on the living room sofa. At the critical moment, he stopped, seeing his restrained, hesitant eyes and bulging veins. I directly pulled him by the neck and kissed him. Every move he made was as if he were handling a precious treasure. I stared at him. Logically speaking, with a guy this handsome, there's no way I wouldn't remember him. but I was too exhausted to say a single word. The questions I wanted to ask never left my lips. My eyelids were heavy, and all I wanted was to sleep. The phone that had been ringing outside was left unanswered. I have a flight to catch tomorrow. When I woke up the next day, I was in the bedroom, feeling clean and refreshed all over. Fu Yan was long gone from the apartment. Yesterday's scenes are still vivid in my mind, and the sensations on my body remain. I lowered my head and let out a sneer. Men are all the same, but Fu Yan was still a decent person. The living room was clean and tidy. Yesterday's mess all cleared up. Even though I was the one who took the initiative, I felt an emptiness inside, as if I were the only one abandoned in this world. Tears fell uncontrollably, dropping onto the ground. I took a deep breath and casually wiped them away. The car I booked was about to arrive. I changed my clothes, grabbed my packed luggage, and went downstairs. The driver arrived just in time. Farewell. This city where I spent my entire youth. Sitting in the car, the scenery outside keeps flowing backward until it fades from sight. Just like everything that once happened, some move forward, while others remain where they had been, lost in the memories of Chu Han's care for me during college. How he braved the heavy rain to buy me medicine and deliver it to my dormitory, and how he traveled thousands of miles to spend the spring festival with me at the remote village where I was teaching. I was also captivated by his confession to me that day by the sea when he proposed. His trembling hands, his yearning eyes. I thought it was his most heartfelt declaration of love. It is a lifelong vow, but no one stays in the same place forever. I took out my phone and deleted Chu Han and Fu Yan's contact information. A brief encounter, both revenge and indulgence. It wasn't until half a month later that I received a call from an unfamiliar number in China. "11. Where are you?" I was surprised to recognize it as Chu Han's voice. From what I know about him, he's furious, but holding back his emotions. "You should have seen what's on the table. Wishing you happiness with Miss Anning. Don't call me again. Are you out of your mind? Sia, I'm exhausted from work and really don't have time to keep pacifying you. Anning didn't even hold a grudge against you for your earlier rudeness, but you're just pushing your luck." I frowned. "President Chu, I assume you can read." The engagement ring was left in the envelope. We broke up. I heard a long, weary sigh on the other end of the line. "Sia, I've already given you an out. Don't test my patience. If you hang up this call, I won't call you again." I was so furious I laughed. So that's how pathetic I was in his eyes. He thought I should be grateful and obediently take the way out he offered. So I hung up before he could finish. I received a message shortly after. "Since you want to go out and have fun for a couple of days, that's fine. Just stay safe. But Sia, you need to tell me where you are. Be good. Don't make me worry. Disgusting. I'll block this number too." If it weren't for the fact that I've had this number for so long and rely on it to stay in touch with friends and colleagues, I would have canceled it the day I went abroad. A few days later, a friend from back home suddenly called me, saying that Chu Han had been looking for me everywhere. He's been searching frantically, calling everyone who might know you. I just find it funny. If he had bothered to ask at my company, he would have known I was abroad, but he didn't, not even knowing where I worked, because, in his eyes, my job is dispensable and completely unimportant. But aside from those few friends, not many people know I've gone abroad. I told her to just ignore him. Chu Han's brother called me, his voice urgent. "Sister-in-law, Brother Chu was in a car accident. It's critical. I'm at the hospital now. Get here quick." My heart instinctively tightened, and I said, "Go find your little sister-in-law. I've already broken up with Chu Han. Nothing about him has anything to do with me anymore. I love Chu Han and respect his brothers. I once treated them with genuine sincerity, but they deceived me and made a fool of me, joining him in messing with me." The person on the other end of the line choked up. "Ah, sister-in-law, I was just joking. You used to value Brother Chu more than your own life. I know you're still holding a grudge and haven't let it out yet. Take this chance to give each other an out and let this be done with." He said it so matter-of-factly, as if I should be grateful for being given such an opportunity. "Minga," I told him calmly. He called off the engagement completely just to vent for Anning. I've already broken up with him, and besides, I have a new boyfriend now. How is that possible? He suddenly blurted out loudly. Everyone knows you were licking his boots. I mean, he realized he had said the wrong thing. Sia, I didn't mean anything else. I let out a faint smile and casually finished his unfinished sentence. Everyone knows I'm Chu Han's doormat. So he cheats without a care, and you all condescendingly turn a blind eye, even helping him lie to me. Suddenly, a loud crashing sound came from the other end of the line, as if something had been smashed. Come if you want, or don't. Better if you never come back. It's Chu Han's voice. Minga tried to calm him down. Brother Chu, don't get worked up. Sia is just still in a huff. Hasn't she always been the one to make up with you first, no matter how mad she was before? Tell her that if she doesn't come back tomorrow, she can never come back again. I can forgive her one willful act, and I can tolerate a second. But any more than that is just ungratefulness. Brother Chu Han, don't be angry. Sister Sia just wants you to care about her more. I smirked. Do you not understand plain English? I told Minga a hard truth. If you've got nothing better to do, just check out my moments. In my moments, there's a photo of me with a colleague who has blonde hair, blue eyes, and striking features. He may look aloof, but he has a cheerful personality. Cia She dares. Chu Han's face darkened so much that it looked like it could drip ink after seeing the photo. Anning tried to reason with him, but he abruptly shook off her hand. Then, as if realizing something, he said slowly under her astonished gaze, It's getting late. You should go back and rest now. The radiant smiles of the two people in that photo lingered in Chu Han's mind. Cia You've got guts. You'd better not come crawling back to me. He asked Minga to handle his discharge procedures. Brother Chu, your injury hasn't healed yet. Can't die. He really did get into a car accident. He just didn't make it sound as dramatic as it was. Chu Han changed into his own clothes. Cia You'll regret treating me like this. He had my card. I glanced at it briefly. My job was insignificant, didn't earn much money, was dispensable, just a way to kill time. My entire existence depends on him. He gave me a card with no spending limit. Swipe away without me. Let's see if you can still live so comfortably. But if he looked closely at the ring and letter I left him, he'd know I never touched that card, cleanly pressed underneath. Since coming abroad, the happiest ones have been my parents, finally able to reunite as a family. But in the early days, the kinder they were to me, the guiltier I felt. She actually gave up the parents who raised me for over 20 years. All for a man. I worked step by step. I never expected to run into my first familiar face abroad. Fu Yin. He actually became my client in the office. He put on a strictly business-like demeanor, as if he had never known me. In that case, I'll just do my job properly. After wrapping up the business discussions, I saw them out. Take care. President Fu. Fu Yan was a few steps behind the others. He let out a strange laugh, but there was no kindness in it. President Fu. He looked at me, reached out to close the door, and stepped toward me, pressing me back. Manager Sia, you took what you wanted, and now you're pretending you don't know me. He leaned close to my ear, his warm breath brushing against my neck again and again. Back then you called me I owe you. He was clearly hinting at something back then. Memories of the past came flooding back, and his words stung me with shame and anger. So I raised my hand to hit him, but he caught my hand, enveloping it in his palm, and brought it to his chest. His eyes locked onto me. Why did you block me? His voice sounded somewhat fragile, hurt but stubborn. Why? I remember the day he left without a word. I said, I'm just trying to spare you any worries. Mr. Fu, so you don't think I'm clinging to you and causing you trouble. His heavy gaze shattered as he murmured, You have never been my trouble. Sia, I finally waited for you. How could I? I chuckled. Mr. Fu ran faster than a rabbit that day. Who ran away? He suddenly panicked. I went out to buy you breakfast, and when I came back, the house was empty. I was stunned, never expecting it to be for this reason. You're really pissing me off. I was momentarily speechless with red-rimmed eyes. He asked me, Who's that person in your moments? He can still see my moments, even though I clearly unfriended him. Fu Yan read the question in my eyes and said, I saw it when FA was scrolling through her moments. A boss actually snooping on their subordinates' moments. Hearing the urging from outside, I quickly said, "You need to leave now. It wouldn't look good if everyone sees you." "What's wrong with that? Now that everything's been cleared up, shouldn't you give me a title?" A faint blush actually crept across his face. The footsteps outside are getting closer. I was terrified and shoved him away. "What status? We have no relationship at all. Forget about what happened last time. It was an accident. If he's not going out, I will." Fu Yan wasn't in a hurry. He just asked me to add his contact info back first. His job demands a lot, and he makes many phone calls every day. But Fu Yun replied very quickly on his phone too, always responding instantly. Thinking back, I used to send messages to Chu Han in the morning, and by evening, there'd still be no reply. When I asked why, he'd just say he was too busy and forgot, like it wasn't anything important anyway. But as soon as he picked up, after just a few words about work, he'd steer the conversation elsewhere. "Manager Sia, are you free after work?" "No time. Got to work overtime." After a moment, "All right, I've already confirmed with your boss. No need to work overtime today. Sia, I'll pick you up after work." I didn't reply to him. After work, Fu Yin was waiting for me at the entrance of my company. I was puzzled. Mr. Fu has been here for so long. Isn't he busy with business back home? He opened the passenger door and said, "I've already applied to be transferred here." I was startled. Then it hit me. I got transferred here. And so did he. Fu Yun. I looked at the driver with a straight face, his wrist gripping the steering wheel, sleeves rolled halfway up, muscles clearly defined. I mustered up my courage and said, "You don't have to do this, if you're doing it for." Fu Yan interrupted me. "Sia, give me a chance. Give me a chance to let you see me in a new light." Fu Yan took me to his home. The chef, specially hired by the family, has just finished cooking. "I remember you used to love Cantonese cuisine. This place is famous for it, and the chef was specially brought in from Guangdong." I do like Cantonese cuisine, but Chu Han prefers bold flavors and loves Sichuan food. So the dishes I often cook are Sichuan style to suit his taste and keep him happy. I ate along with him until my stomach ached. I often take a stomach pill before meals. I can't believe someone still remembers that I love Cantonese cuisine. But how does he know? I finally asked that question. "Fu Yun, have we met before?" He looked heartbroken. "I knew you'd forgotten all about me." He pushed open a door. "Go in ahead of me and turn on the light." I was stunned. "When did you take this?" "No, wait, how do you have a photo of me? From elementary school through college." He took even more photos than Chu Han, with greater detail and beauty. "The room is full of my photos." He suddenly pinched his nose, making it look like Chu Han's snout. He said to me, "Silly piggy, silly Sia, I knew you'd completely forgotten all about me. You even said you'd marry me one day and have my back for life." I suddenly jolted, remembering, "It's you. We were classmates in kindergarten, elementary school, and for half of middle school." Fu Yan had mild autism as a child and didn't communicate with others. He always had a camera hanging around his neck. Unfortunately, they got stuck with me as their desk mate. I talk way too much every day, and it's annoying. Even my parents are asking me if I could just calm down a bit after class. I still dragged Fu Yan out to have fun, even though he just followed behind me. I managed to make him laugh and start talking. The first thing he said was, "Silly piggy." I gave him a beating. Later, I realized he was saying, "Silly Sia," because I accidentally knocked over the milk. His mom came to my house that day, carrying bags full of snacks and toys, and Fu Yin with a grim face. My parents looked utterly confused, thinking I had gotten into trouble at school again. He was just about to reach out and teach me a lesson. His parents beamed from ear to ear. "Thanks to your daughter, our son has finally started talking." My parents were stunned. After that, he often sent Fu Yan to my place to play and deliberately arranged for us to attend the same elementary and middle school. But in middle school, he suddenly left one day without saying goodbye. "I'm furious about this. You left without a word, and you have the nerve to say I forgot about you." He quickly explained, "I left you a letter on the day I went through the withdrawal procedures. I told you to wait for me, To wait until I could marry you. He said it was a rainbow-colored envelope. Oh, I think I vaguely remember it. I threw it away as trash. Fu Yan said his parents took him to immigrate abroad. He specifically enrolled in a 1-year domestic exchange program to come to my school. But you were already with him by then. I was so close. His eyes were red as he looked at me. Sia, do you have any idea how desperate I felt back then? I hate that I came too late. If only I had arrived earlier, you would have been mine. So he confessed the darkest part of his heart. Every day, I wished you two would break up. And I even deliberately created misunderstandings to make it happen. But you just love him. I stared at him in shock, never expecting that he was the one behind those misunderstandings that almost led to Chu Han and me breaking up. I don't recall him ever showing up during college. He said dejectedly, I really have no idea what to do anymore. When the exchange period ended, my mom urged me to come back. But I locked myself in my room and didn't want to talk to anyone. Mom hired a psychologist. I heard from home again that you're happy. After that, I thought to myself, as long as you're happy, that's enough. I'm content just watching you from afar. But he's not good to you. Sia, he looked at me cautiously. I'm not a bad person. It's because he treated you badly that I showed up and took you away. Seeing the cautious probing in his eyes, my heart ached. I cupped his face and said, Fu Yin, thank you. He once caused misunderstandings between Chu Han and me. But this time, Chu Han himself betrayed our relationship. Thank you for thinking of me all these years. He said, just give me a chance. Okay. I gently kissed his trembling lips. Fu Yan's warm breath lingered by my ear. Sia, this time you can only have me in your heart, loving me to the utmost, calling my name with the utmost care. I was lost in a haze of passion, feeling nothing but the burning heat on my skin. He suddenly stopped. Sia, who am I? I was too ashamed to speak, biting my lip to stifle the sound, shaking my head without answering him. He suddenly pressed harder, his warm palm against my back. Say it, who am I? Fu Yan was so restrained that sweat beaded on his forehead and every muscle in his body tensed. He tormented me until I broke down in tears, and in the end, I surrendered, calling out his name. Only then did he lower his head to kiss the tip of my nose, contentedly conquering every inch. In the final moment, he held me in his arms and murmured softly, Sia, you are mine. You are never allowed to leave me. Not in this lifetime. Chu Han's patience had reached its limit. I didn't show up until his birthday, with no sign of backing down or admitting fault. The things I left on the table were still there, except for the one he briefly glanced at. But this time, he found the card he had frozen. He sat on the sofa, chained, smoking in agitation. The wine bottles in front of him lay scattered. The doorbell rang at that moment. His dim eyes suddenly lit up, and he hurried to open the door. So you finally decided to come back, having regrets. A delicate, aggrieved voice sounded. Chu Han was taken aback. It's you. Anning's expression froze, but she quickly composed herself and said, You haven't reached out to me in a long time, and you're not answering my calls. I was a bit worried about you. Chu Han lowered his head with a bitter smile. Even you know to worry about me. But what about her? Ungrateful. Brother Chu Han, what's wrong? Anning's hand rested on his face, the stubble making him look especially haggard. He pulled away from her hand, turned, and went inside. I'm fine. Just go. Anning said aggrievedly. Are you waiting for Sister Sia? She's not coming back. She even had her job transferred away. Chu Han spun around sharply, staring at her. What did you say? Chu Han's expression made her a bit uneasy. Her job has been transferred abroad, and she already has a boyfriend. How do you know? He asked in a low voice. Sister Fa posted it on her moments, and Brother Minga knows about it too. Chu Han raised the bottle in his hand and hurled it violently, shattering it into pieces with a loud crash. Shattered glass, shards ricocheted back, grazing his skin and leaving a bloody gash on Anning's neck as well. Anning was so frightened that she began to sob softly. She stepped forward and hugged him, saying, Chu Han, please don't be like this. I'm scared. He asked Anning to scroll through her moments and show him. After watching for a while, the fierce look on his face gradually softened. No, I've seen how she acts when she's with someone she truly loves. This man is definitely not her boyfriend. Brother Ming had shown him this photo before, but he was in a bad mood at the time and just thought Sia was throwing a little tantrum, waiting for him to coax her. So he didn't look at it carefully, but now he let out a chuckle instead, getting people to play along with your act. Posting this photo. Isn't it just so you can wait for me to come find you myself? Fine, then I'll go over in person and give you that way out. Shu Han found out my work address with just a simple check. A colleague gave me a heads up over the phone. A man came to the company asking about me. I knew it was Chu Han from his description, but I didn't pay much attention after hanging up the phone. I still wanted to go back to sleep. Fu Yan's arm slid under my neck and suddenly pulled me into his embrace, pressing my back tightly against his body. A hoarse voice whispered close to my ear, "You still care about him." I'm too sleepy to talk to him, but he insisted on an answer, pressing his body even closer. "If he comes looking for you, would you go with him?" His hand started wandering, and I lost all drowsiness, so I grabbed his hand to stop him. "What do you think?" "I don't know." I sighed and pinched his ear. "Fu Yin, what are we doing right now?" He looked at me with burning eyes and whispered 2 words in my ear. I pushed him away, embarrassed and annoyed. "So you still think I'll go with him?" He said nothing, just looked at me. The answer was obvious. My patience ran out. I threw off the covers, got dressed, and left. A relationship that takes too much effort only drains me. I don't want to waste any more time on one. If you don't see eye to eye, just walk away. I've tried coaxing someone before. It's just too exhausting. If that's how you see it, the outcome might just turn out the way you expect. I have to get to work now, so I'll be off. Let's not see each other again. I pulled my hand away from his grip and walked off without looking back. I thought this relationship would end right here. To my surprise, Fu Yan was still waiting for me at that spot when I got off work in the afternoon. He was so afraid I would leave that he ran over the moment he saw me. "Sia, I'm here to pick you up from work." "Mr. Fu, I've made myself clear to you. There's no need for you to go out of your way to win me over." He simply took my bag and pulled me by the hand toward the car. "Sia, we just didn't make things clear. It's not like we stopped caring." As he walked to the car, he looked at me and said, "I'm sorry, Sia, I hesitated this morning." He said very seriously, "I've made up my mind. No matter what you choose, I won't give up. If you choose him, I'll take you back again. Sia, it's not that I'm hesitating. I just don't dare, even when you're in my arms. I can hardly believe it's really you. Every time I wake up in the middle of the night, I have to look at you to feel at ease." After returning from her exchange program, Fu Yan tried to convince herself to let go when she learned that Sia and Chu Han had a stable relationship and that she was happy. Loving someone means wanting to see them happy. Even later, he deliberately returned to her city for work. I only watched her from afar, never disturbing her. Every time I saw her smiling happily at him, it felt like needles piercing my heart. When I learned that their relationship was in trouble, the emotions I had held back for so long could no longer be suppressed. Fu Yan held my hand and looked at me firmly. "Sia, in this lifetime, you are the only one for me." I looked at him, never expecting him to be so straightforward. "What are you doing?" In front of the bustling building, Chu Han's voice, which stood out as completely out of place in the local setting, caught the attention of passers-by. Fu Yun shielded me behind him, his gaze fixed on Chu Han as his expression turned cold. "ceoandcinderellachinesedrama. First it was a foreign guy, and now you've switched to an Asian man. You really don't care who you pick as long as it's for the show. Fine, you win." Chu Han strode over quickly and reached out to pull me toward him, just like he used to take my hand. But this time only he knew how difficult those few steps were and how his outstretched hand was trembling. He said, "ceoandcinderellachinesedrama. I know what you look like when you love someone, and I know what you look like when you don't." I stepped back and Fu Yan swung his hand, directly knocking his hand away. "Mr. Chu, raising your voice like that in public isn't exactly a sign of good manners." "shuangwen." "Mr. Fu, dragging someone else's fiancé around isn't exactly the act of a moral person." "Sia, come here." Fu Yun and Chu Han had crossed paths in the business world. Two people have been bidding against each other for a piece of land, locked in a fierce standoff for days. In the end, Fu Yan's strength and decisiveness far surpassed his, securing the contract. In Fu Yan's mind, he simply didn't want Chu Han to have an easy time. But if Chu Han suffered, Sia would be upset, so he could only resort to some minor tricks that would sting a little without causing real harm. Chu Han, did you get your head stuck in a door? Can't you understand what I'm saying? I've told you, and I've told your brother many times. We're done. I smiled. Congratulations. Your wish to postpone the engagement indefinitely has finally come true. No more excuses needed. Xuan froze, his face instantly turning pale. Sia. Fu Yan breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Chu Han with contempt. Mr. Chu, chasing after someone else's girlfriend isn't a good look. Still, I have to thank you for letting go. Fu Yan took my hand and flaunted it openly in front of him. Otherwise, I'd regret it for the rest of my life. Staring at their tightly clasped hands, Chu Han was dying inside. Sia was supposed to be his. They had just had a fight, yet she didn't even come to make up with him. It's okay. He came in person, but she still gave him the cold shoulder. Cia you only get one chance. I can humor you, but don't push your luck. I ignored him and pulled Fu Yun into the car. I'm tired. Let's go. Fu Yun seemed like a completely different person, often with a smile at the corners of his mouth. It was nothing like the cautiousness from when we first met. I never expected that when we met again, it would be like this. Chu Han actually came looking for me. No casual pleasantries, no easy forgiveness. Chu Han watched with red-rimmed eyes as the car drove farther and farther away. Finally came to terms with the truth. Sia is truly different this time. She was no longer the Sia, she whose world revolved entirely around him, who would panic at the slightest cough he made. Before he went abroad, Minga reminded him, Chu she this time. It doesn't seem like she's joking or throwing a tantrum at you. She seems to be serious. Chu Han downed a glass of wine in one gulp. No way, Sia will never escape my grasp. Minga hesitated, seeing him like this, and said, to be honest, you really went too far the last few times. Sia is a girl with a sensitive heart. She's not unaware of the changes in you, but she loves you, so she's been tolerating you all along. Brother Chu, it's not that she can't live without you, it's that you can't live without her. Her presence is everywhere in your life. Your clothes are bought and matched by her. She has her own job. Yet, she still worries about your health and never forgets to make you soup every day. Minga asked him, have you never truly kept her in your heart, treating her like a dispensable pet you can summon or dismiss at will? Chu Han was stunned. He sighed. Everyone has a heart. With that, he patted him on the shoulder and left. Even so, Chu Han still came with unwavering confidence. He had come to appease her in person, so she should have let go of her anger by now. At worst, he would just pay more attention to her from now on. But he forgot. No one would wait for him forever. Chu Han thought about it. The reason Sia was so angry was simply because he had called off the engagement ceremony. She left because she felt his apology was insincere, so he promised to marry her. Minga rented a venue near Xi's workplace. I'm going to propose to her. Sia, she wanted to marry him so badly. She must be satisfied this time. Right, he had someone trick me into coming. Pink balloons and champagne roses lined the aisle while a handsome man stood at the other end holding a large bouquet of flowers. Everyone who saw it was cheering and offering blessings. Marry him, marry him. I turned around and left immediately when I saw Chu Han, but he quickly stepped forward and grabbed me, saying, ceoandcinderellachinesedrama. I'm sorry. Chu Han knelt before me and said, I never considered your feelings before, but this time I'll make it up to you. He looked at me with tenderness in his eyes. Look, how ironic. I let out a sneer. Chu Han, so you're not actually too busy to spare even a moment after all. Honey, I was wrong before. From now on, I'll make sure to find time to be with you. I dodged, but now, seeing you kneel before me only makes me sick. No, he was about to say something when Fu Yan came over and punched him square in the face. I warned you not to come near her again. Chu Han grabbed him by the collar with a dark expression. Manager Fu, you're overstepping. What happens between me and my fiancé is none of your business. Chu Han, let go of me. Chu Han stared at me in shock. He made the first move on me. Sia undicesimo. Are you really going to protect him? I snapped. Why would I take your side over his? He's the father of my child. Who are you to me? My cheating ex-boyfriend. Both of them stared at me in shock. I kept looking at Chu Han and said, haven't you heard that the best ex is one who is as good as dead, especially someone like you? Chu Han let out a cold laugh. Sia undicesimo. You'd even say something like that just to protect him. I'm the one you should be caring about. You care about him. Do you really think he gives a damn about you? Does he even know what's been between us? Does he know you've been with me all these years, cooking and cleaning for me, spending every night with me? With a sharp slap, I struck him across the face. Chu Han, I regret ever meeting you. My hands are trembling with rage. Fu Yan held me protectively in his arms, staring coldly at Chu Han. My only regret is not finding her sooner, not taking her back from you earlier. Having calmed my emotions, I broke free from Fu Yan's embrace. Chu Han, I said, you're disgusting, and you really are. I dug out the recording of his phone call. Who knows? Back then, I thought she was beautiful, a radiant little girl, but now, I'm sick of her. Even the thought of being with her once makes me nauseous. Chu Han's hands were trembling, his face pale. Sia, I can explain. I then opened the video from that night, the one in the bridal chamber. Chu Han stumbled, his face deathly pale. Chu Han, President Chu, do you need to keep watching? He tried to snatch my phone, but Fu Yan blocked him and landed another punch. You scumbag, you make me sick. Don't come looking for me again. And I haven't touched a single cent from your card. Stop acting all high and mighty with that condescending attitude. I'm not your kept canary. Chu Han's head felt as if it had been struck by a heavy blow. I have no idea when the crowd scattered everywhere. In his eyes, the fiery passion of their college days had faded, and what held them together was nothing but unreserved love for each other. Chu Han gave Sia a card, an unlimited limit card. Not only that, he gave her all the status of being Mrs. Chu, except for that piece of paper. In his mind, he always believed he was the one in control, and that Sia, she existed only in dependence on him. After all, I've given her such a great life, so it's only right that she keeps me happy. Chu Han assumed that Sia, she was also fully aware of this in her heart. Otherwise, why would she be so willing to wash his clothes and cook for him? He knew she didn't like spicy food, yet she still ate it with him every time. Compared to the good life he could provide, what was a little spiciness? So, he kept forgetting her birthday time and again, even Valentine's Day. See, even if I forget about her, Sia never forgets about me. Having such an obedient girl by my side isn't so bad. But only today did it occur to him that Sia, she's kindness, her coaxing, and her care for him had nothing to do with that card or the material life he kept talking about. The only reason is that she loves him. Only when Sia, she withdrew her love, did he realize how cold the air around her could be. It was so cold that he couldn't breathe. After Fu Yan took me away, he carefully helped me into the car. Only then did he cautiously ask me, Sia, is it really true? What? He was a bit anxious. Child, is what you said about a child true? He's mine. None of your business. Fu Yan took my hand and pulled a ring out of his pocket, kneeling on the ground. Sia, will you marry me? Looking at his eager expression, I said calmly, I won't marry you. Fu Yan only grew more determined with each rejection, seizing every chance to propose to me. But I'm afraid that all feelings start out burning hot, only for time to slowly wear everything away. In the end, Fu Yan brought my parents and his parents together to prepare a grand proposal ceremony. Sia, since you don't want to marry me, would you be willing to marry me instead? You said before that you would marry me. Mom said that Fu Yan is different from that kid from the Chu family. Listen, you better not mess with them. Fu Yan and I have settled abroad. My parents are here, so we can reunite every year. Right after I gave birth to my son, Minga called me. Sia, brother Chu really knows he was wrong. He's already fired Anning. Why don't you just come back? Brother Chu is willing to give you all his assets, Fu Yun declared loudly. Who cares about his paltry few coins? My wife can only spend my money. Minga, I'm married now. Don't call me about him anymore. A call came in from an unfamiliar number in China that evening. I am feeding my son. Fu Yun's cheerful voice came through. You're looking for my wife. She's right here in my arms, holding our son. I'm truly blessed to have met my wife and even more fortunate that she's willing to give me a son. Fu Yun was heard talking to himself on this end, while there was complete silence on the other end of the phone. Finally, without any warning, as if avoiding something, he hung up the phone. I know who it was. From now on, don't answer calls from irrelevant people. International calls are a waste of money. Fu Yan gave me a kiss. Whatever my wife says. For our son's 100-day celebration, 2 boxes of baby supplies were shipped from China. Fu Yan said it was just a token of friendship, but he threw it away when I wasn't looking. Oh, forget it if you can't find it. It's not like we're short on these things anyway. Honey, the baby's hungry. I never saw Chu Han again after that. I only occasionally heard from close friends that Chu Han is now drinking heavily and it's really bad. He even said things like, that was supposed to be our child. I heard that Anning was in a terrible state when she was kicked out. Chu Han smashed her phone. She deliberately said those things to me, but specifically blocked Chu Han from seeing them. He sneered at Anning. So restless, trying to climb up. Who do you think you are? What a piece of trash. Anning was so terrified that her face turned pale and her voice lost its sweetness. The Chu Corporation, including any companies that collaborate with Chu, is prohibited from hiring Anning. But none of this has anything to do with me anymore. Whatever happens to Chu Han, he brought it upon himself. Fu Yin sat in the car the whole time, patiently waiting for me to finish talking with my friend. What do you want to eat? Honey, I'll cook it for you. I looked at his handsome face and couldn't resist teasing him. Eat you up, you rogue. He took my hand and placed it over his heart. Anytime,